humility be ours to impart as we welcome the stranger who knocks at our door, as we share with them at our table. May we reach out our hands to the one who needs our care. May we walk the road with them, that their story may be heard. May our hearts be ever open to the unexpected one, that they may be a stranger no more.
Díguit, God be with you. I have greeted you in my native Irish tongue, Gaelic. It is one of the many languages spoken throughout the world by brothers and co-workers. It gives me great pleasure and satisfaction to use this medium for the first time to speak to you from the General Curia here in Rome. I am using this medium because it seems the most effective way of showing you how the face of the order has changed and is changing at an increasing rapid pace. Each year, the lives of more than 20 million people are touched by a follower of St. John of God in more than 50 countries around the world where the order has presence. Would it have been possible for anyone to predict the revolution that was to take place in the scope and extent of the work that John of God started in Granada in the last years of his life until his death in 1550? In everything that we do today, we are challenged and supported by the realization that our actions make the compassion of St. John of God real and active in the lives of people in need. The John of God story is one of constant change. When John started his mission, he began simply as an individual, helping the abandoned, poor and sick whom we found on the streets of Granada, sometimes taking the weakest and sickest of them back to the porch of the house of the Venegas family. In a short space of time, the porch became too small for the number of persons that John brought home at night, so he accepted the suggestion of some people to move to a house in Lucena Street. These good people obviously also provided the financial resources for him to do so. Because of overcrowding, it wasn't long, however, before John had to move again from Lucena Street to a larger facility at Los Gomeles Street. John saw the hand of God acting in the people and the events that brought about necessary change if his mission was to continue and develop. Thankfully, over the centuries, we have continued to adapt, change, and develop in the same way. We left the security of Granada and our hospital there to go to other Andalusian cities and to Madrid. We answered the call to go as what we would call today medical attendants, with armies and navies during periods of war and exploration in the 16th century. This new ministry took us to other countries, both in Europe and the New World. In many places, we took on new ministries in response to urgent needs, such as orthopedic work in Spain and psychiatric work in France. Even that quick sampling of our early history shows our capacity for adaptation and change when such is required by our mission. The urgency of the mission today and the imperative contained in the hospitality of St. John of God impels us to provide quality services everywhere we go, which also serve as models of care. Again, let us look at a few more modern examples. This is the St. John of God night shelter at Marseille, which the French province has run for more than 100 years. This type of service that provides food, shelter, and other necessities for homeless people is the forerunner of the many similar institutions and services we conduct now in a number of provinces. This hospice for people suffering from terminal cancer in Munich was opened in 1991 in response to a new unmet need for palliative care that was revealing itself in society. Today, we find similar works in Gwangju, Korea, and Yangji, China. In all these locations, our centres and services were the first of their kind. This centre for persons with a learning disability at Vellore in India is important because it promotes a community-based approach to serving children and persons with learning disabilities that involves parents and families and helps to emphasise the rights and dignity of disabled persons. In Muzuzu, northern Malawi, in 1993, the Irish provinces started the St. John of God Community Services, a community-based mental health service that over the years has responded to the needs of the local people by developing a wide range of therapeutic, preventative and educational services that have enhanced the quality of life for all who live in that area. The hospital-based work that the Brothers of the Canadian Province established in Vietnam in the 1950s has given way to a deep commitment on the part of our Vietnamese brothers to the practice of traditional medicine and the manufacture of traditional remedies. In their largest centre at Bien Hoa, they treat approximately 300 patients each day, and this centre is recognised by authorities as a centre of excellence. In Spain, this centre for immigrants represents a timely response to a pressing social need. It provides people who are homeless and adjusting to a new culture with support in various forms: food, shelter, clothing, employment counselling, and legal advice. The Austrian province is constantly developing its services for patients whose hearing is impaired. The hospitals at Linz and Vienna have medical, nursing, and paramedical personnel especially trained to be able to communicate directly with persons with a hearing impairment. This does away with having an interpreter during medical consultations and treatment. At 3 locations in Poland, Warsaw, Łódź, and Drohobych, we have dining rooms and other necessary services for homeless and needy people, such as showers, renewing clothing, and obtaining medical attention when required. In the developing country of Papua New Guinea, our services are focused on rural health needs. The brothers train as community health workers, and part of their service is carried out by operating rural health centres and patrolling into remote areas. A most recent development and mission has been the response of the Colombian province to a government appeal to take on the main responsibility in partnership with 2 other entities, a university and an insurance company, for 2 hospitals and their clinics in the city of Bogota. The objective is to transform the operation of these hospitals so that the infrastructure is updated, services are improved, and the ongoing development of the personnel is secured. It is expected that these hospitals will become models for the nation, in the same way as the hospital at Cartagena, also in Colombia, has been transformed by our involvement since 2007.